Okay, so right out of the gate, I gotta say something. I tried orange vanilla Coke today, and guys, no, no, um, no, it's just not good. So anyway, there's that. If I can save you the trouble, I would advise you not try orange vanilla Coke. I guess unless you like. Well, here's the thing: if you like orange, great. If you like vanilla, great. But orange and vanilla together, who wants a dreamsicle inside their soda? Well, I guess some people in America do, because you can be damn sure that they tested that with some folks somewhere. So I guess, I don't know, maybe try one. My name's Steven, and this is Get Tucked, a Don't Trust This Man podcast. So I'm taking a few episodes to tell the story of my life, or more specifically, my faith, what some in the church might call my faith journey, or even more simply, my testimony, which, even as I hear myself say it, makes me want to die a little bit. But I do think it's important that we tell our stories as true as we can. So last we left, I think I was in college. Maybe I had just gone to the Christian college. College was fine. I was going along nicely until I met a girl. That girl is now my wife. And once I met her, once we got together, I was like, oh, I don't need college. I don't actually need anything. I don't even need the air I breathe. I have her. So I stopped going to class, lost my scholarship, my academic scholarship, which had been up until that point full tuition. Whoops. And basically dropped out of college. Quick side note, I finished my degree some years later, so it's fine. I was working at a fireworks supermarket in Tennessee off the interstate. I'm sure you've seen it. If you visited the store between 1996 and 1998, I may have sold you some Roman candles. Boom. Anyway, I'm working there. I became aware of a youth pastor job at a Baptist church in Dalton, Georgia. And I thought, I don't know. One thing I didn't mention last time we talked, when I was a small child, I pretended to be a preacher. I would dress up in a jacket and tie, a little clip-on tie. I'd borrow my brother's music stand. He played trumpet, and he's older than me. And I would set a Bible on it in front of my parents' very large mirror, and I would preach to myself. As I aged, I sort of lost vision of that thing, what some might call a call. And so by the time I was made aware of this youth pastor job, I was like, yeah, I don't know. And I told him that. I was like, yeah, I don't know. And I said, I thought this would get me out of it, because I was connected to the pastor and we talked a bit, and he was like, let's just give it a try. And I said, you know what, here's the thing. You're a Baptist church. I'm in a Pentecostal school. We probably have different theological views. It's just going to be a mess. And I'll never forget that Baptist church took a chance on me, in the immortal words of ABBA and later Erasure. I don't think there are many Pentecostal churches, not if I use the ones I've been around as a gauge, who would have taken a chance on a Baptist student. We're so afraid of each other, aren't we? People who believe like we believe make us feel safe and protected, and make us feel validated and right. And that feels really good. People who think differently from us make us feel insecure and unsure. I'll never forget the kindness that church showed me. Now, they didn't know that I wasn't sort of your typical Pentecostal, and I wasn't particularly excited about or devoted to the things that make Pentecostals. Not just, speaking in tongues, all that stuff. That's not something that I ever felt super strongly about. But they didn't know that. All they knew is that I went to a school that taught those things, and their church didn't. And they said, "Why don't you come give it a try?" And they did say, "Hey, maybe don't get crazy, but let's give it a go." And that church was so good to me in so many ways. And to my young family at the time, we had a baby boy. I'm forever grateful for the kindness they showed us in that way, and for the fact that because of my time at that church, I sort of afresh had a sense that I was called, made, destined, or simply enjoyed doing the work of vocational ministry. I remember the senior pastor went on vacation, and so I was able to assume the responsibilities of the senior pastor for about a week and a half. I led the adult Bible study. I think I preached on a Sunday morning. I had office hours. I loved everything about it. I really did. And so it's a powerful thing to remember that it was there in that place in Dalton, Georgia, that I kind of sort of fell in love with. Is a bit cinematic, but that's where I was reminded that that's something I really like doing. And even to this day, I don't know if I really have a strong theology of a person's call. Like, what are you called to do? We say in evangelical circles. I don't know if I fully know what that all means. I just know that I think I've never received energy. I've never felt more energized by a vocation than when I've been involved in vocational ministry. And that's been my job, to fulfill the office of pastor or associate pastor or youth pastor, although I didn't like being youth pastor as much as the others. I have felt the most vocationally alive in those moments. I went on from there. That was not even a full year at that church. The one thing that church couldn't do for me was pay me very much. And so we hit a moment. We had to move. We moved to Illinois, lived with my in-laws for a bit, bounced around a couple odd jobs, and eventually landed at the church where my father-in-law was pastor. Began an on-again, off-again working relationship with that church and with him. I was there for almost 3 years as a youth and associate pastor. Loved those people. It's funny because the people in that church, different from the Baptists because these were Pentecostal folks, but similar in that they extended kindness to me, even though I wasn't exactly there. I wasn't the prototypical Pentecostal. The people of that church were so good to me, and so kind to me, even though I didn't speak in tongues like they did, or I didn't pray as loud as they did. I didn't run around the sanctuary when I got excited. I didn't get excited in the way that they did. They were so kind to me. They showed me mercy and grace, and I'm grateful for that too. I then left that church and I became the senior pastor, was the pastor of a church in a small town called Johnson. There's no T. Is there a T? Johnston, I think there's a T, Johnson City, Illinois. It was a difficult experience. It was at this church, that church, where I confronted head on the theological differences I had with my denomination at that time. And I shared, as part of a message one Sunday, those disagreements. In my naivete, I thought people would rise up and say, "Thank you for being bold and courageous, and thank you for expanding our minds beyond what we've been taught." Instead, they opted to stop paying me, called me a heretic. I should have known better, and no one warned me. I think Lori knew. Lori's my wife. She's always been wiser than me. So we left, and they were not sad to see us go. Went back to the church from before. I stayed there for a while. I actually became the pastor of that church for a season after my father-in-law left. And I could begin to see, this is now 2007, 2008, I could begin to see that they were going to feel about me the way the folks in Johnson City did, because I would now have to be honest about who I was and what I believed and how it was different from what they wanted. Even if I did so more gently, and if I was less cavalier and more careful, they would still end up hating me in some way. And that church had been a church that was part of my wife's childhood. There's some difficult memories from that, and so we opted to leave. We left the ministry in 2008. And I've been thinking about how to get back every day since. I was talking with someone the other day about Brene Brown. I think at this point, most folks know sort of who she is and what she does. And I know she's kind of had a moment, and she had the TED Talk, and she's written some books. I was telling my friend the thing that Brene Brown has said that sticks with me the most is when she talks about what we do when life doesn't go like we thought it would. I think about that all the time because life has not gone like I thought it would. And I guess what I would say to you tonight is, if life has not gone like you thought it would go, and that's a sad thing, I'm sorry. I weep with you. I mourn for the loss of what you thought was going to be. But as sort of foolish and maybe shallow and Pollyannic as it might sound, I have to say to you that for myself and for you, I believe that there can still be good in the unplanned. There can be good from what you didn't expect. I don't mean to say that it will always feel good, or that you'll always be happy about it. But the tree you never meant, I should say, the tree you never meant to plant can bear good fruit. I believe that for you and for me. Psalm 31, 9 through 16. Be gracious to me, O Lord, for I am in distress. My eye wastes away from grief, my soul and body also. For my life is spent with sorrow, and my years with sighing. My strength fails because of my misery, and my bones waste away. I am the scorn of all my adversaries, a horror to my neighbors, an object of dread to my acquaintances. Those who see me in the street flee from me. I have passed out of mind like one who is dead. I have become like a broken vessel. For I hear the whispering of many, terror all around, as they scheme together against me, as they plot to take my life. But I trust in you, O Lord. I say, you are my God. My times are in your hand. Deliver me from the hand of my enemies and persecutors. Let your face shine upon your servant. Save me in your steadfast love. I don't know how often you have heard people talk to you or speak to you of the love of God. I don't know if those words have become nothing to you, or if those words incur pain and hurt because of the people who said them to you. I don't know if you are angry at the God those words intend to represent, or if you miss the God of your faith because you had to let him or her go because of the people who serve him or her. But what I would say to you tonight is, my prayer for you tonight is that in whatever way you need, you might be reminded of the steadfastness of the love of God for you. And may you, I pray, have peaceful rest and sweet dreams.